Howdy folks, Albert Moore of Blue Jacket Archery here today. And today we're going to discuss, well, I guess there won't be really much discussion. You guys are just going to listen and I'm going to talk, I guess is what it comes down to. But I'm going to talk about carbon bows. With the introduction of the new Elite Carbonera into the market, there is now basically four prime carbon bows on the market today. Those would be Elite, PSE, Hoyt, and Bowtech. Now you have to understand. Now, we like carbon bows, but we're not huge advocates of them simply because of the price of the doggone things. I'm trying to pull with my camera here. Give me a second. There you go. Anyway, now because you have to understand carbon bows, there's no advantage to a carbon bow at all over machined aluminum bow when it comes to shooting or whatever, except for mass weight. Mass weight is literally the only advantage to a carbon bow over aluminum. So that said, when you look at if you're looking for a carbon bow, all right, and you're looking at a bow that weighs anywhere from 4.4 to 4.5, even 4.6 pounds, what's the point? What's the point of a carbon bow that weighs as much as a machined aluminum bow? What's the point? There's no point, because the carbon bow simply can't do anything over and above what a good machined aluminum bow will do, except the mass weight, keep the bow lighter. So with lightweight in mind, you have to kind of think of your purchase, because you're getting ready to dump a boatload of money down on this carbon bow for that lightweight. So make sure that your bow you're looking at is lightweight. All right. Now, two of those carbon bows I'm talking about weigh in excess of 4 pounds. They're upwards of 4.4, 4.5, 4.6 pounds, right in that ballpark. There's only one other carbon bow in the market that's as light as this one. All right, this bow here is 3.9 pounds. 3.9 pounds empty. All right, now with this thing loaded up completely, all right, the way I have it, I got a single pinion wheel adjustable sight, a Hamskea rest on here, which is not known to be a lightweight rest. Very good rest, but they're just not known to be lightweight, and along with 11-inch front bar. All right, this bow totally set up like this weighs right in at 5.2 pounds. Totally decked out, totally rigged out, except for the quiver, obviously. 5.2 pounds. There's only one other bow in the market that you even have a sniff of a chance of getting to 5.2 pounds with that light of weight. And that bow is, we shot it, we shot it, and it is noticeably louder. It's not near as quiet as the Elite bow is. Now, the Elite era. Now, another thing with a lot of carbon bows, it's very difficult for the manufacturers, if they take the time to do it in the first place, to keep that riser to within the same tolerances as their machined aluminum counterparts. Well, most companies do not. Most companies do not take the time to do that. Elite, however, did. They did take the time to do that. It took them 3 years of experimenting with different thicknesses of carbon material, different weaves of carbon material, everything. But they have assured us that they've got the specs of this riser, the tolerances, down to as tight as their machined aluminum bows. That's pretty impressive. Now, let's talk about the bow for a minute. I'm not going to give you a bunch of specs on the bow. I'm just going to do that briefly. If you want in-depth, specs on the bow, there's about 200 other videos out there all over the place that you can find that information. I'm going to talk here today and tell you our thoughts, and our impressions on this bow after having now shot it for a week or for a couple of weeks here. We've had it to some 3D shoots. We've shot it in the store. We've tuned it, whole 9 yards. And so we're going to give you some of our impressions of what this bow was like when we shot it. Now, the first thing we noticed when we took it out of the box, well, number one, they're very lightweight. Keeping in mind, folks, that I'm not a huge carbon guy, all right, or I hadn't been till this point. I was shooting an Omnia when this bow arrived, and I figured I'm going to shoot the Omnia all year. Well, and I'd probably take a couple shots out of this one, hang it on the wall, and just keep shooting the Omnia, all right? Keep in mind, well, when I took this bow out of the box, and I shot this bow a few times, I was so impressed with it. The Omnia is now on the rack, and I'm shooting the carbon bow. All right, that's how impressed I was with it. This is absolutely the most pleasant shooting bow I think that I have shot in a long, if not ever, a long time. Now, keep in mind, I get it. Yes, I'm an elite dealer, and a lot of you guys out there are saying, "Hey, he's an elite dealer. This is just a sales pitch. He wants you to buy the bow." Well, of course, I want you to buy the bow. Of course, I do. But on the other hand, I have spent a lot of hours developing a reputation and developing an integrity of honesty in this shop. I don't just feed you full of a line of BS to make a sale. A lot of other shops may do that. We don't. If there's a problem with a product, we just flat don't sell it. Or if it's a situation that we're forced to sell it, trust me, those situations do pop up. All right. If it's one of those situations, we're certainly going to tell you the issues we found with it. We found no issues with this bow that mean anything. There's a couple coming up here I'm going to tell you about a little bit that they're very minuscule, stupid little things, but we did notice them. So anyhow, but shooting the bow was absolutely the most pleasant bow that we have shot, if not forever, a long, long time. This will absolutely be one of the most pleasant, pleasurable experiences that you can experience shooting a bow. It's just it's just fun. It's just an absolute blast to shoot. All right. Now, speed-wise, it was getting very respectable speed. We did not shoot it at 5 grains per pound at 30 inches, 70 pounds to see if it would do the IBO rated speed, the factory give it. But this, based on the speeds that we are getting out of it at my draw length at 30 inches, I would say if I did that, I would be pretty stinking close. Pretty stinking close. Right now, I'm shooting this bow at 62 pounds with a 412 grain arrow. 404 grain arrow, 30-inch draw length, 62 pounds, and I'm getting I'm right into low 290s, in the low to mid 290s with it. Now, so speed's there, and lightweight's there. What else did we notice about it? It obviously has all the minute draw length adjustability that Elite's known for. It does have the set technology here to rock your limb pockets to aid in tuning. It does have micro adjustable limb stops right here. Cable stops. Also comes with limb stops. I prefer the cable stops, which brings us to one of the little things, the little nuances, the little, whatever you call it, the pestilence things, I guess, that we found that it's not really a problem other than the fact we just noticed it. All right, inside this the cable stop right here, there's a little brass gear. You see that little brass gear in there? Now, when you loosen the cable stop and you put the same Allen wrench in this little gear here, you can turn that gear and it walks this cable stop to where you can minutely adjust your let off right down to 1% at a time. Now, here's the issue we had with it. It works flawless, other than the fact when you first take them out of the box, these things are dry. There's no lube in there, no nothing. And when we started shooting the bow, we kept hearing this little buzz, like a little bee, like a bumblebee in a tin can, kind of a buzzing noise. And it was coming from this little gear here. So what we did, we simply took it apart, coated that little gear pretty heavily with a real soft, kind of like a silicone-based bowstring wax, and put it back in there. Problem solved. Never made another buzzing sound. Or you can just take the thing clear out. Most bow hunters are not going to utilize this thing to its fullest potential anyway. Most bow hunters just leave it right at the 90% let off and they run with it. Target shooters will benefit from this type of system, but most bow hunters do not. on my Omnia. I just took the thing clear out and just didn't worry about it. But anyhow, now what else did we notice? As far as little issues, that's probably the only real issue we ran into, and that's not even a real issue. That's just something stupid that we just happened to notice. Now, other than that, the draw cycle, it is just a little on the stiff side. It doesn't. Those of you out there that have ever shot the Encore or the Remedy, it certainly does not draw over like the Remedy does. But this is the same cam as the Verdict and the Omnia have. It does draw slightly stiff. It's not annoying. It's not unbearable. It's just something that is. And when you shoot 8 or 10 times, you don't even notice it, and you just haul it back and you just shoot. So we did notice that, and it does seem to favor arrows a little on the stiff side. All right. When I was tuning this bow, I was shooting a 350 spine arrow at 29 inches, and I was inconsistently getting left-hand tears and right-hand tears about, about a half an inch. And in between there, I was getting bullet holes. And this is all bare shaft tuning. All right, now, so what I discovered, the further back I got, the tear got progressively worse, which it kind of would. Bare shafts are pretty hard to shoot at 12 and 15 yards. But anyway, what I discovered, I took that arrow and I shortened it up another inch from my setup. Knocked that arrow down to 28 inches, and the thing tuned absolutely perfect. Clear out to 12 yards, bare shaft, perfect bullet holes. Fletched arrow, at any distance, perfect bullet hole. It tuned phenomenally easy. And and once I discovered that, I literally had the bow tuned in about 2 shots. Once I discovered what was going on. So it does have that little peculiarity. It just wants to lean slightly to the stiff side. Not bad, but slightly. All right, now, what else did we notice about the bow? The finish on the bow is par for Elite's solid reputation of phenomenal finishes on their bows. No problem with that. All the other adjustments were fine. Now, yes, now people say, okay, why do you want a carbon bow? People say, well, it keeps my hands warm. Listen here. Listen, I don't want to hear a bunch of armchair sissies out there talking about how I gotta have a carbon bow to keep my hands warm. Do you realize you're spending another $600 to get that feature? This bow does the same thing. It is very warm to the touch. But listen, I would rather a person walk in here and tell me they just flat want one for the prestige and the notoriety and the bragging rights of having one than to tell me I gotta have this to keep my hands warm. Chances are, folks, if it's that cold, you're wearing gloves anyway. So at that point, what difference does it make? So anyway, now that said, that's pretty much it, folks. Very, very pleasant. Just, I can't say that enough. It is one of the most pleasant, pleasurable bows I have ever picked up and shot. It is just just a blast to shoot. Very, very maneuverable bow. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. We do have a sample here. It's in my lap. Come down and try it out. I do have more coming. They're just not here yet. Come on down to Blue Jacket Archery to that little cabin in the valley and see what hunters shoot. Albeit well-to-do hunters, I get it. It is a pricey bow, but nevertheless, come on down to El Cabinet Valley and see what hunters shoot. Until next time, folks, have a great day. And I want to put out a little bit of a howdy doody there to some upcoming friends of mine in Martinsburg, PA. Hey, Larry and your whole crew. Looking forward to meeting you this Saturday. Talk to you then, folks. Have a great day. Thank you.